on the extraordinary.
Good evening. I'm Warwick Moss. On a given night, when the moon is right and the imagination is at work, a lone person might see things that don't really exist, like ghosts, spirits, maybe UFOs. But when 7 grown men see the same thing, and they all swear after 18 years that what they saw was real, then you have to take notice. In the case of Travis Walton, every witness took a lie detector test, and the results spelled UFO.
Is your first name Travis?
Yes.
On November the 5th, 1975, in the forest area called Turkey Springs, did you see a large glowing object hovering in the air?
Yes.
While you were standing near this UFO-like object, do you believe you were struck by an energy force emitted from that large object?
Yes.
After regaining consciousness in a small, humid room, did you see non-human creatures with large dark eyes moving about the room?
Yes.
Did you conspire with your brother Dwayne or anyone, or act alone, to stage a hoax about your UFO abduction?
No.
It happened deep in the woods of the White Mountains of northeastern Arizona at 5:49 p.m. Travis Walton was 22 years old. He was with 6 other woodcutters returning to their hometown of Snowflake as twilight settled on the rugged woods where they'd worked all day. The crew supervisor, Mike Rogers, was at the wheel as they rounded a bend and came upon a clearing and the hovering light.
It was very clear, very vivid, and it was, 75 or 100 feet from the truck. I verified that later on with my own step and loft measurements.
Travis Walton has walked that same clearing 100 times since that afternoon 18 years ago. He still hasn't found an answer.
I had pretty bad nightmares for a long time, but I just had to cope with this thing and get on with my life.
The events surrounding that day are the subject of a new movie called Fire in the Sky, which opens here soon. But the question goes unanswered. No reported UFO encounter on Earth has ever fallen into the category of the Travis Walton case. His reported abduction by unknown beings was witnessed by all 6 of his co-workers, including Mike Rogers.
This brilliant flash of light just lit up the whole woods right there. It was almost blinded me. It did blind me temporarily, just for a few seconds. I turned back around and glanced back to my right, where I'd seen Travis standing, and he's flying back through the air. He was just like as if a grenade or explosion had gone off in front of him.
We all saw the thing. We all saw the guy get zapped.
All swore to the same story.
That's the truth, mister. That's exactly what happened. Is it?
All except one submitted to lie detector tests at the time and passed. Then this year, every single one of them took more sophisticated polygraph tests conducted by the same man. All, including Walton, passed.
Mr. Walton is telling the truth when he claims that this is not a hoax, that he went on board what he believed to be went on board a UFO and was later deposited on a road in Heber. His story is truthful in reference to the questions I asked.
The people of Snowflake can't explain what happened that evening, including the then sheriff, Marlon Gillespie.
My belief is that those individuals, those 6 individuals, seen something that they believed was a UFO.
Get back in the truck!
When the blue light appeared above them that evening, Travis bolted from the passenger side door.
I felt kind of like an electric shock go through my body, and it kind of made me go numb, and I blacked out.
Oh, my God. What's he doing out there? He's back in the truck. The hell is
And I hit the gas, and these guys are simultaneously screaming at me to get the hell out of there, and I was gone.
They thought it had killed me, and they panicked.
As the truck sped off, Travis recalls an unworldly series of events.
I don't know how I got on board. All I know is that when I regained consciousness, that's where I was. I was in a lot of pain, just a tremendous amount of pain. I was lying on my back on a table, and there was a light above me. And, you know, I couldn't focus my eyes at first. I saw these creatures standing over me that I knew I wasn't in a hospital. And at that point, I just flipped out. I just became hysterical.
When Rogers and his crew drove back to the clearing, Travis was gone.
Whoever they were, wherever they were from, they had taken him. And I was like overcome with emotion by this. I mean, I broke down.
Travis Walton would not be heard from again for 5 days and 6 hours. Back in the town of Snowflake, the story reported by Rogers and his men was met first with derision, then grave suspicion.
We started looking at, checking them, just watching them for, see if we could observe if they'd been drinking or appeared to be on drugs.
Search parties scoured the White Mountains. As the days passed, the unspoken accusation was clear. Mike Rogers and his men had murdered Travis Walton, hidden the body, and made up the UFO story. Not surprisingly, all the men were nervous about taking the lie detector test.
If you're lying, my machine will show. If you're clean, it'll show that too.
How do we know you ain't been bought off? Make us look bad.
Alan Dallas actually refused the test because of the accusations. But Cy Gilson's test findings would throw the sheriff's theory out the window.
Each individual did not kill Walton. Each individual was not involved in causing Walton to disappear by being hurt or burying him in the woods or whatever it may be. And each of the 5 were truthful when they said they saw what they believed to be a UFO.
And then, after those 5 days and 6 hours, Travis Walton woke up beside a road near the town of Heber.
There was a light shining down onto the road. When I looked up to see where the light was coming from, I saw this object hovering there. And just as I looked, it shot straight up out of sight, real fast, silently.
And then he told the even more bizarre story of being taken aboard the alien craft.
It was quite a small room, dimly lit, and it was very difficult to breathe in there. It seemed like the air was too warm and humid or something. It was very hard to catch my breath.
The creatures had examined him and taken fluid samples from his body. Some of the creatures were human-like.
I saw 4 of them all together, and 3 of them are the ones that rendered me unconscious. When I first saw this human-looking person, I thought I was being saved, that I was being rescued by people.
To this day, there are doubters who believe that 7 woodcutters pulled a fantastic hoax on the world at 5:49 p.m. on November the 5th, 1975, like Rich Robertson, who covered the story.
Most of the time, the people who see UFOs are people that were predisposed to believing in them to begin with. I guess UFOs have a way of picking out those particular people.
But others, like the sheriff who suspected them of murder, have changed their minds.
I believe that there's unanswered questions out there from outer space. I think that there's probably some occurrences happening that our government may be aware of that they're not telling us.
The 7 men involved don't see much of each other anymore, They hadn't talked about the incident for years, until the Hollywood movie was made. And the world began to ask the same questions all over again.